more ways than one, Canelo has become the gold standard in what's accomplished inside and outside of the ring. Having the freedom to create his own narrative and choose his opposition at will is getting noticed from his peers, most notably a former undisputed champion himself, Terence Crawford. When reflecting on Canelo's recent run in comparison to his moves, Crawford had the following to say to Sky Sports. He is definitely doing things differently to me because he is able and capable of doing those things. He has fought 4 times in the past year. He has become undisputed. He is getting all of the fights that he wants right now. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to. It has been frustrating, but what's meant for me, I will have. Everything happens for a reason, and I believe that my time is coming. I feel like I'm already there, but I have to prove it to the world, and it starts with Porter. All right, Doc, he got a tall glass of water ahead of him. Sean Porter is somebody that's relentless. He's going to be in his face all night. But let's just say Crawford is able to get past Sean. What should be his next move?
Well, since when a glass of water was hard to drink, I
don't know what I was talking about there.
Well, I'll tell you what. Listen, I think that Canelo is setting the tone, Barack. And I know he's not the first one. We know that Mikey Garcia went down that road as well. But I think Canelo, because he's such a high-profile athlete, and the fact that he went from, 11 months ago becoming undisputed at super middleweight, 3 fights on DAZN, and then the last one on Showtime pay-per-view, he is opening the eyes to a lot of fighters. And I think Terence Crawford, as much as I love the guys over at Top Rank at ESPN, I think for him, undoubtedly, no question about it, absolutely, he should seek other opportunities, but not tie himself up to another network, but follow in the footsteps of the pound-for-pound king. And I'm just talking about business-wise, but I'm not saying you have to follow Canelo, but if it's the right move, if towards the end of his career he wants the fights that he's been yearning for, I think that the move is free agency in the sport of boxing.
Sounds good. And it's crazy that it's the politics that stops us from having these fights, man. And then you got a reporter asking, Bud these questions, and he's comparing his career with Canelo's, but I don't think he should even frown on his own career, because when you look at the total journey, it took both of them 6 years to get to their first title each. Canelo came in as a little kid, and Crawford came in as a young man. But the whole journey, Canelo took 16 years to become undisputed champion. And as far as Bud becoming undisputed champion in super lightweight division, that was only 9 years into his career. So he should still look back at his career and say, hey, listen, a few years into my career, I became a champion at 135. The next year, I moved up. First fight at 140, except that one when he beat up Prescott because he knocked out Amir Khan. The first one at 140, he became a champion. 2 years later, it took him 2 years to unify. Once he became champion in the super lightweight division, it took him 2 years and 4 months to become undisputed. So that in itself is a great milestone.
Not too shabby, and I'll add to that, Barack. Canelo Alvarez has been a star for quite a while in the sport of boxing. He's had a big following. Even back then, you and I were in the building when he fought Floyd Mayweather. That place was packed with Mexican fans. He's been a star in Mexico for a long time. And in this country, he's been pretty much a star for, the last 5-6 years. There were years ago, Bud was a guy that was so risky, and he didn't have a high profile. So it was hard to get those fights because guys didn't want to take risks with this guy who wasn't going to bring them the biggest payday. Canelo was a guy that for a very long time, you're going to get the biggest payday against him. So guys are willing to take that risk. Yeah. So that's why Canelo's able to get the big fights, because guys are willing to take the risk for the payday. But didn't have that luxury. He was a guy that people avoided because the risk did not weigh the reward. So that plays a part in him not getting the fights that people wanted to see him in.
Very, very good point. We need to give you another round of applause. That's 2 round of applause, and I don't know, have we been doing this for 10 years? That's not bad. 2 in 10 years. All right, so listen, it seems like people, like that, being their own boss. Floyd did it. Canelo did it. Oscar De La Hoya did it. Do you think if Bud does it, everybody will catch on to this and say, you know what do we need long-term contracts for?
I mean, I think they're doing it already. I think a lot of fighters are already exploring those options, talking to their managers, talking to other promoters, other networks. Believe it or not, baby, it might be under the radar, but they're talking about it, big.
Did you just say, believe it or not, baby?
You know, in the hood, in Brooklyn, how we say, yo, good shot, baby boy. Good shot, baby. That's how we talk.
A little too excited talking about believe it or not, baby. Nah, bro.
No, but
Wow.
Seriously, Barack, I think that fighters are, of course, you know, Bud is, you know, he's one of the best fighters in the world. I have met my number 2, and if he does something, believe it, he's gonna influence a lot of fighters out there, no question. And can we argue with any guy that does it? Canelo is a proof of the pudding. Even before so, Mikey Garcia. It just makes the most sense. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think there'll always be promoters. I just think maybe the contracts would be shorter.
Oh, I'm not saying that boxing cannot thrive without promoters. These promoters do a hell of a job. I mean, obviously, Matchroom doing an amazing job globally. Golden Boy put in work for years. Top Rank has been in it forever. I mean, Bob Arum has promoted Muhammad Ali fights. So don't get it twisted. Not that there shouldn't be promoters. I think the fighters should be able to work with different promoters and be free to make these fights happen.
Thanks for watching this video. Please do subscribe All Media New York.